The chronographs and car racing go well together. They have been for years, like having a cold beer at the end of a long working day. In today's video, we will do a review of an affordable manual racing chronograph from a French company called Depancel, and the name of this model is Allure. As always, I will point out all the positives and the negatives of the watch as I find them. And first, let's talk about the case. The diameter is about 39 millimeters, it's about 45.5 millimeters from one lug to another, the lug opening is 20 millimeters, and the watch is about 13 millimeters in thickness. The case is made out of stainless steel, it features mainly brushed finishes with chamfered edges on the lugs, and the overall execution on the finishes is really good. I should mention that this watch costs $650, is the same price in euros. This model features a boxed sapphire crystal with AR coating. It is actually a sapphire sandwich, as the display caseback is also sapphire. The caseback is not screwed down, it's actually held in place with screws. The watch has 50 meters of water resistance, which I think is reasonable for a racing style chrono. At the 3 o'clock position we find a crown. It's a weirdly shaped crown, it looks like a lug nut, which is kind of interesting and ties in with that racing motif. At first I thought it might be difficult to operate this crown as the watch features a hand-wound movement, so you have to interact with the crown all the time, and sometimes crowns that have odd shapes are kind of difficult to engage and operate. Happy to say I have no issues with this crown because of its size. It's quite large, so it's pretty easy to use. I see no difference between this and a standard round crown. There are of course a couple of pump style pushers. This is a chronograph after all. The pusher at the 2 o'clock position, that's to start and stop the chronograph function, and the pusher at the 4 o'clock position, that's to reset the chrono. This model is available in 2 different color combinations. There's the blue dial version and this silver dial. There's no question that this watch is heavily inspired by 1960s and 1970s racing chronos, which is not a bad thing at all. I personally am a huge fan of that era's racing chronos. This one features what's called a mono eye design, where you can see that one of the registers is a different color from the other. It almost looks like it has a black eye, and I think that sort of imbalance to the dial works pretty well with this design. The register at the 3 o'clock, that's the one that's done in a darker color, and that's also the countdown for the chrono. The sub-register at the 9 o'clock position, that's your regular seconds timekeeping. Around the dial we find applied indexes, they are loomed, and the set of hands is loomed. Here's a loom shot for your reference. As you can see, the loom is actually pretty good. And one little detail is the fact that the 12 o'clock position marker is actually Depancel's logo, which I think works with this design. The writing on the dial is minimal. It says Depancel closer to the 12 o'clock position and motor racing instrument closer to the 6 o'clock position. I think the pops of orange color work well with the silver look to the dial. There's the kilometers per hour scale around the border. Usually that would be the tachymeter scale, but in this case it's a speed scale. Looks kind of cool, and you can see the danger zone between 200 kilometers and 240 kilometers are highlighted in orange. The seconds hand for the chronograph timekeeping is also highlighted in orange, and there are some orange accents on the sub-register that's counting down minutes on the chrono. The orange accents actually carry on to the strap. As you can see, this one features orange stitching all around, and I think it ties in with the design of the watch really well. It also has a little French flag, which I quite like. I think it's a cool little nod to the fact that the company is based in France. The leather strap is of a good quality. It's nice and thick. At first, it's a little uncomfortable to wear. You really have to wear it in. You really have to conform it to your wrist. But once you do, it's very comfortable and it feels solid. I like the fact that when you order one of these watches, you can choose between your standard pin buckle and a deployed buckle. I went for a deployed buckle because I just like how it hides the excess strap. The strap also features quick release pins, which makes it very easy to swap it for something else. On the wrist, the watch wears well. I have about a 7.25-inch wrist. I got a little skinnier, so my wrist has shrunken, and I think a 39mm diameter really works well for a watch like this. It actually looks a little bit larger on the wrist because it's pretty much all dial. There is very little bezel, and from my experience, watches with this design tend to wear larger. I think this one wears closer to 40, maybe even 41mm. But if you have a medium-sized wrist, even some smaller wrists, you should still be fine because it has a very reasonable 45.5mm lug-to-lug distance. Height-wise, it's also reasonable, 13mm, so you should have no problem sliding this under the cuff of your shirt. Overall, I didn't find any awkward angles or any pressure points after wearing this watch for a couple of weeks. As far as the movement of this watch, to keep the price low, they had to go with the Seagull ST1901 hand-wound movement. Yes, it's a Chinese movement, but it's actually based on a Swiss Venus 175. As the story goes, Swiss actually sold off their equipment to a Chinese company called Seagull, and they were able to clone the movement and reproduce it. It's a hand-wound call and wheel chronograph, very reliable, beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it has about a 45-hour power reserve. This one here is also machined finished. As you can see, it has some striping. It also features blued screws. Overall, I don't mind this movement at all, and I appreciate the fact that Depancel actually offers 5 years of warranty, which is kind of rare in the field of micro-brand watches. Usually it's about a 2-year, sometimes even a 1-year warranty. Having 5 years just gives you a little bit more peace of mind. Overall, I think Depancel did a fantastic job with this model. I really like it. I think the sizing is great. I think the design is great. The value for money is definitely there. Very hard for me to see many negatives. If you're in the market for a racing-inspired chrono, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this choice. Thank you for watching this video all the way until the end. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more reviews and videos like this, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this model. Are you picking one up? Are you letting this one go? What did you like? What didn't you like about it? I always enjoy reading your comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.